Big boys! What's up, guys? We're here with Simon, Josiah, and
That's me.
Justin Bieber. We couldn't get Matt today. We had to get Justin
We had to
Bieber. As you
substitute.
could tell from his flow. It's kind of sad, but it's okay. We got Justin. So, Justin, how's your latest singles been going and stuff like that? I know you've basically been professing as a Christian with all your new tats and stuff.
Yeah.
And you're saying, "Oh, I'm a Christian, with all your tats and peeing in mop buckets and stuff in public restrooms. So we just want to know, like,
Where am I going? Oh, this
why are
looks like
you
it.
swearing at paparazzis and calling them rude names? Can you just tell us a little bit of background of how that's a Christian in your life?
I plead the fifth.
Okay, we're gonna cut that. Justin's out of here. And we got Matt back.
Oh, it's Matt.
If you guys guessed his age in the last one we saw, we just flooded in with comments. We had I think we had 10,000 comments
At
on the last video, I think it was. And everyone was guessing that he was 12.
One
I'm
comment.
guessing he's
Yeah.
12. And
You
could tell
It was one.
he's 12.
It was one comment.
So on his driver's license it says 12 years old.
Yeah.
But we are going to be talking today about Skidoo rides. I was trying to tell my Skidoos in the last one, and the guys were like, my Skidoos only. This is him. I scanned the 377.
only Skidoo you need.
503 drop in. He is like, I had a Jag, but I sold it. So I said
Didn't
mine.
work, sold
I
it.
did say my piece.
Smoking oil.
And honestly, I'm about ready to just take two frying pans and boom, smack these guys with them.
He
But
wanted me to sit in the middle.
I'm not going
and
to do
then
it. He's trying to be producer.
Yeah.
And I'm
Well,
telling
I don't
him,
know.
produce
Not
the show.
Host.
Maybe get us some views on. And
Okay,
I
let's
said,
switch right now, honestly.
I was telling
again.
him, okay, just get out of the way. Get out of the way. Oh, yeah, maybe my rolls ain't going to infect you or what? Yeah. That's right. Yeah, so I'm trying to tell him, produce the show. Get us some stinking views. And I says, how many comments do we have on the last video? Because he's a producer. He's all the, producer
I'm looking at
extraordinaire.
the comments.
Mike, whatever. And I'm like, okay, he's like, when? And I was like, 1,000? And he says,
He wants to be
comment.
big time, this
I
guy.
thought we were 10,000 comments. He's telling you guys, for some reason, we got one.
We got no sponsors.
Come on.
We didn't get Tim
Anyway.
Hortons from the last
Getting
one.
it back, and we need a
We are
sponsor from
trying.
Coca-Cola.
We are trying.
See this? Coca-Cola Zero. So that's what we're looking for out of this. Basically, we just want lifetime Coca-Cola. So
Okay,
that's
so
the only reson we made this podcast.
kickstart.
Yeah, even that. It's good.
Okay, so
Energy
today,
for the podcast.
this podcast, we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about our some Skidoo stories, like when we were first skidooing. Like Matt, he's a bit newer to skidooing, a little bit than us, and then Josiah, he went out with him more like last winter, and they have they've gone together and they've got stuck a couple times. So
Pretty crazy.
we're gonna do that. So how was your first time skidooing more, Matt?
oh, man.
He used my sled.
Yeah.
And Matt, obviously, you can tell from this video, he is not a large male.
No.
So he can't move
little.
around.
Even though it's Big Boy's podcast, he's not a big boy. Let me tell you what. Okay. Here you go.
He can't move around a 500-pound Skidoo very
No.
well. Let's just say that.
Well, it's not like that heavy.
It's
pretty,
extremely heavy.
It's pretty.
It's older, so it has more steel on it, so it's heavier.
Yeah.
He's just making up excuses.
I like it, whatever.
But
because he can manage it, I couldn't
can
quite
manage it,
manage it. It's just
Okay, so,
power.
we're first driving, Matthew would just go on the back, and he would just be like, "Oh no,
Hanging on for dear life.
please, please don't kill me." But we would just ignore him and have a laugh.
We
and
just ramp it. We'd be like,
we'd make him cry. We'd make him cry. No, but yeah, when we first started out, we were trying to make sure we teach all of the safe as much of the safety things as we can.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
for Matthew, this little boy over here,
Safety doesn't apply.
we would cross the we'd cross the road for him because in some areas the road crossings aren't great, and when you're first learning Skidoo, especially on a big machine like that.
So and he didn't have his license.
Well, yeah, and he didn't. He was actually. What were you? 15 when you started Skidooing?
I was 17.
But you didn't have your.
Yeah. No.
Anyways,
Anyways,
we
didn't have it.
with a Skidoo, the if it was a big Skidoo that had like some bigger paddles or some like ice picks, it would be okay. It would be a little bit easier because then you have more movement. But it's just an old like just absolute boat anchor. So it's hard to kind of cross the road when you're just first learning. So
Those
we would cross for him, and then we'd be like, "Okay, get back on, buddy." But so
You
yeah,
got it.
but it was all more recently that we all got into Skidooing. Like probably 3 winters ago.
3, yeah, for mine, basically.
About 3 winters ago. Simon, I think he's had his for.
I've owned mine for 4, but I've only been driving for
yeah,
3.
He didn't drive it for as long, but he drove some
Pretty
Skidoos
much.
before that.
Oh yeah, when I was I could tell a story, kind of, I guess. I had a friend when I was like 13, and he was like 11. This kid, he was in middle school, and he's from Newfoundland, and he's this kid. He's just like all deadly. He's like, oh yeah, but descend over the hill. Don't worry about it. We're gonna go. Don't worry about the rules, okay? Like I didn't have a license. It was my first time on a sled, right? And it was a Yamaha 600 touring sled. And then I was like, yeah, no, it's okay. And he had a 600 Articat racing sled, tune pipe. He was like, yeah, I just go 60 kilometers. And I go 110 kilometers an hour, no problem. He was just like, dude. And when I drove it once, I was just going. I was like, just driving it like that.
Just fishtailing.
I almost fell off.
Does this thing even have a track?
We were riding on the river, on the river once, and then I got kicked off the back. I was like, and I fell off the sled
Right into.
Did I tell you about that? Oh, it was pretty fun though. It was like good experience for. We got stuck a bunch, and we were smaller, right? I got this huge Yamaha sled stuck. Somehow we got it unstuck, I think, or we left it for a bit and then came back. Or I don't remember, but we got it stuck a couple times. So I knew kind of how to get a sled unstuck or not a little bit better understanding. So it was pretty crazy, but that was a pretty fun time. It was crazy. So.
Yeah, so once we started getting into sledding, I think after Simon bought his, I got more into watching some videos and I guess just kind of seeing people around. There's tons of sledding up here in Thompson, and then I think I was watching some videos and stuff, and obviously I've seen Larry Enticer.
Just gonna send it.
And I saw an Enticer on Facebook. I just scooped her up.
Just couldn't resist.
And it was just rough. It was pretty much rough the entire time I had it. It was like not one of the mint ones, I guess. It's just like it had just a few, it had tons of little minor issues just like the entire time. But it was super fun sled. One time me and Matt went.
It's not made for big boys to ride on.
Like me.
Big boys.
I'll tell the story about me and Matt in a second, but one time I was just going with my buddy and he's got like a what is it, a Summit that Chris has?
Yeah.
He's got
Skidoo Summit.
He's got a Summit and he's like, oh, I don't like this trail riding. That's how he sounds.
Who? Oh, Christopher.
And we were going through trails and stuff because I like going trail riding, but I also like powder. But the Enticer doesn't really do powder that well. It just kind of, it does. It just floats over top of it.
It's really light.
Even with a big boy on it. But we were messing around by an area and there's this like, it was like a perfect jump. It was like just a nice like maybe 2 foot like, it looked like a jump. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna hit that. I just speed up and go at it, And then when I hit it, I just seen after it's just a pointed rock like this with snow around.
Oh.
And I just flipped I flipped the sled like onto its side, up onto its side like this, and then it landed again normal, and it just kept going towards the river into like 4 feet of powder, and I just heard my shoulder like, ow, just like fell off.
Was I there?
Oh no!
Was I there?
And then this guy was not there. He's trying to ask me. I'm in the middle of a story, bud. No, but
Center of attention again.
you weren't there. I'm not center of attention. You're in center.
I know. I'm
Golly.
just joking.
Maybe you should learn where center is for your positions in hockey.
Okay, I'm just waiting for the next.
Yeah,
question.
you're not waiting for nothing for that. Ooh, Scooby-Doo,
I
Dabba-Doo.
am. No, I am.
That's it. Anyways, I'm trying to get back to my story here. So rudely interrupted. I fell on my side, just crying. No, and then I started just running down towards my sled because it's going towards the river. I'm like, oh no! It's like somehow it's just going like full throttle. Like it's like the throttle got stuck or something. It's just like in like 4 feet of powder, and I'm just like, no, stop! It's like no one even seen me. And then I walked into this deep powder and just trying to get it out, and then I eventually got it out.
When was that?
Turned it around, and somehow I got out of there.
Even
I don't
with
know
a
how.
bald little track.
And the track, yeah, on Enticers, the track is like literally like it's not even a quarter inch. It's supposed to be like a quarter inch, I think. It's like nothing. But I do want to make like a custom Enticer build, but that'll be pretty hard, and I'll just have to mooch some money off of one of these guys or both, just through a couple of my scams that I'm doing. But yeah, so that was one story with the Enticer where I almost injured myself gravely, but I didn't. I was like trying to be like Larry, and I just couldn't live up to the hype.
Couldn't send her hard enough, eh?
And then the other, well, like we've gone on like tons of rides because we try and go like, well, I don't know how often we go, like maybe once or twice a week. Like it depends on
As often as we could.
how. Yeah, we would literally go as often as we
I
could.
can go as much.
And he couldn't go as much with work.
I
and
went
stuff.
more this last winter, but
So, like and
I think so.
yeah, and one time we were going. We did like I think it was wasn't it a 40-kilometer loop?
Yeah.
We did a 40-kilometer loop, and then that was when the oil pump like blew out on the bottom, and then I started pre-mixing after that because I was like, I don't want to fix this.
It was like legit after this huge loop, we came back and we're
was
like
so lucky.
we pulled into the driveway, pulled into the
was
backyard,
literally-
It was
And-
running like just phenomenally, and then I pulled into the yard, and it's just
stopped,
like
and just the
poop,
thing just dropped.
just drop right out.
spraying out
Start
everywhere.
seeing oil everywhere.
God was just like, okay, you're home. Boom. Just let it go.
So after that, I ran it with premix for a while. It actually ran pretty decent.
Yeah.
And then the clutch was slipping actually since I bought it. Not fully since when I bought it, but since like probably a couple weeks after I bought it, it was just absolutely slipping. And I don't know if it was the clutch or if it was the gears that turn the track.
Oh,
But
the plastic like connection.
yeah, the plastic,
sometimes
gear things. But
Yeah.
they looked fine to me, so I think it was either the track.
Because sometimes they don't grab, but
Yeah. But anyway, I thought it was a chain case. I thought it was a lot of different things, and just couldn't figure it out.
because
so
the track wasn't spinning. I mean, the plastic.
you'd go on the throttle, like say you go 3/4 on the throttle,
Yeah.
and it just makes a noise like that.
Oh yeah.
So it sounded like I was like, oh, the chain case is skipping, and then eventually it would catch. It would be like, and then it would just send itself off. And
Right,
I
yeah,
had the throttle like super set so that it would run like sensitive, so it'd like start taking off by itself sometimes.
Yeah.
Just start walking.
There was
Start
no
walking
slack
away.
in that, no slack in that throttle.
Nothing
Just start
wasted.
Walking away, but it could go through some decent powder. I was surprised I had some ski skins on there. I kind of wish I
6
took them
inches.
off because I think they're 8-inch ski skins.
Oh yeah, they're big.
At least 8 or 9.
They just floated, man.
I wish I took those off of there, but I do want to get ski skins
Oh,
on the
yeah.
next sled I have, or unless I get one I might get a Polaris LXT with like snow paddles, which are like 8 to 9 inches sometimes. But well, that's snow paddles.
Yeah,
and then they're
snow
also
paddles,
they're not like super long skis. They're just kind of like, well, they're not that big, but they're fairly short compared to regular skis, and they're just deadly plastic. So
Yeah.
might look into that because then it would be not too bad.
What is the
even brand new.
LXT? What does the LXT look like?
I think it's.
Oh, you
I don't know
mean
if it's
the
LXT?
the Indy XLT?
Yeah, but it's a different version of the Indy though. But it's the Indy what is it?
XLT.
Well, I have learning.
It's wrong.
I have learning with the letter in the middle. I don't know how that works. So
Oh, okay. Sorry.
because it's LXT or whatever, it's same difference to me.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
ABC.
They do have different models, so sometimes I get confused.
Well, no,
too.
I don't get confused. I just make the confusion for myself.
for myself.
That is how you grammar. So
Yeah.
I'll definitely be looking into a lot of different sleds coming up here, especially if I get good paychecks from wildfires. And when this guy's trying to just scrub toilets and he's yelling at me, he's always saying rude things. He's like, "I gotta scrub this poop out of here." Always says that, and I'm just like, "Stop it with profanity, sir."
I haven't said that.
But he just lies about it all the time.
Yeah. So,
So, and then
what can you do?
after that enticer,
What can
I
you
bought a deadly trail sled and just didn't run that great. First, sat for a little bit, started running, broke the recoil, and then
Yeah.
did some
That recoil.
runs with it, did some stuff. Didn't have any bars, so I didn't have any wear bars, and so
Oh,
I
yeah.
just was jumping it. Just started jumping it. I'm like, you know what?
Don't
This
wear
got a-
bars, just jump it.
It's got a 500 engine.
Just send it.
With a
What's
six,
the problem?
with a 580-pound sled.
It is a very, very heavy sled.
It's heavier than mine.
Getting these sleds,
Beast.
these old sled stuff sucks. But the enticer was
Yeah.
like 380. Like, it was like really, really
You
light.
could throw that thing around.
I could
pick it up
I
with
could
one
pick
hand.
that up and easily. Just,
Yeah, even
pick it
this
up.
I could ride
little
it.
guy.
with your pinky finger.
Just
You could like probably most average people could bench press it.
yeah.
Not actually, but
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, these not new, but the sleds that sled that I bought is just not the deal. I was like, okay, I'll just go buy another sled.
Just buy another one. Why not?
Bought a
I mean,
What I gotta lose?
just bought a used Polaris, and these guys are just trying to make fun of me,
what?
even though I got more money than both of them combined.
Yeah.
Just kidding, I don't. Not even close. But I bought that sled, and now it doesn't run so well. So I'm going to be trying to look at getting rid of that one as well, and buying probably 2 or 3 Polaris switchbacks and 1 or 2 Chaos sleds as well,
Yeah.
along with a Toyota Tundra and a Toyota Tacoma. Once I get those, then I'll probably be happy.
Fully happy. All right, sounds good. So, what was your first
Yeah.
experience? Thank you for the stories, by the way.
Well, no problem. That's what I do. Oh, never mind.
Okay.
Oh, one time I was driving by myself, and I did that 40-kilometer loop with this Polaris.
I
I
don't know
was
how you
skipping.
did that. I don't even.
It was skipping.
You did the 40-kilometer one with
or
that?
it the belt likes to shred. Me and him were going through powder. He's going through powder in this like
Yeah,
500 pound-
mine surprisingly this year. Sorry for cutting you off.
It's all good.
I'm just trying to like because you were mentioning it. It did really good in powder this year. I didn't go through much last year, and then I went through a lot deeper powder this year because I mostly went on trails last year. So I went on deeper powder, and it surprised me a lot because I was able to go through the like these areas where it was like wooded, but we were like in powder, and I was able to I made sure that I had momentum most of the time, and I tried.
Yeah, Matt.
Oh yeah.
I'm laughing.
I tried to get
laughing because
Yeah.
Matt was like, you can get.
So yeah, you can, and then Maggie, you can explain that.
So wait.
I was under the precursor of slow and steady wins the race, and slow and steady equals safe. And I just got
Not
the wrong
the
memo.
case. That didn't work.
It was the worst decision of my life.
It's because Matthew drove our other friend's sled, and it was a Summit like 2015 or whatever,
With
like a new.
140
And you could literally just
inch
you could stop in
track.
powder and just like literally just go like meow, just like
Yeah,
stand it up.
Chris ran in sled,
Which
Well,
is
he's like,
it's an HO. It's it's like
Nah.
super deadly
about that.
fried.
Well.
Thanks again. It's awesome.
You don't even live in England
Right.
anymore. Maybe you should just use a regular voice.
What?
who are you talking?
Now, I was
Did you
trying
say the story? Sorry, just I cut you off. And then I didn't know.
I was trying to say
Go on.
something about your sled,
And
and
I
you
was
guys
trying to-
you interrupted me by trying to say a story.
Yeah, because we're trying to elaborate on my ability to get stuck in snow.
I want him to tell.
I just wanted to say I almost got stuck in slush when I was going on the trail. I almost got stuck in slush. I went and I
Okay.
put the throttle full.
Was I with
bore.
you?
Slush.
Was I with you?
Blah, 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 blah. Boom. None of our sleds have paddles except for the one that I have that has paddles that doesn't run that well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on with your story, Matt.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. So
Justin Bieber hair.
so basically, I had this. I don't know how I decided.
Probably
this.
put macaroni in a tank.
We were on our. Oh, yeah. So we were on this. I've gotten this sled stuck on more than one time. Totally
This is
unintentional.
This is Simon Scandic. He always drives.
This is mine.
And
He drives.
I was trying to be careful. It's my first. I've never really driven sled very much. I don't realize the power of a 500. I mean, it's got some zip, and I had this most brilliant idea of We were going on this trail. It was like a one pathway. Josiah was in front of me with his Polaris, and there's this little loop that was basically like I don't know, just.
Oh yeah, what do you mean
it's like a loop.
you're trying to be careful? I haven't really ran a sled before.
Well,
You've been driving now for like 2 seasons, probably.
2 seasons like
This was just
intermittently.
this was just this season, so it's
Oh.
not like he's unexperienced and doesn't know that it's a heavy sled.
Well, I've heard that things that it floats on powder and like
Well.
just glides on it, just 6
They
feet.
think they think I lie when I'm like going in powder, but I'm doing it properly. And then
Yeah.
this guy,
And I
he's like,
ripped it.
he's like, what happened?
So I was trying to pass him, and there's like this hard packed lane, and then on the right there's just
Like a
powder.
trail,
It's
and
just,
then-
it's just smooth. And I was like, oh man, there ain't nothing this sled can't go through. And I just absolutely ripped it. I went like
He didn't rip it.
2/3 throttle. I was going like 20 kilometers an hour, going right in. I hit the powder, and I knew it was all getting. I was just like,
He was just
I was
like,
trying to pass him, and then I was just like, then I just pinned it, and I just heard this thing scream, and the track was spinning, and
Oh.
and I just sank. I just watched myself stop and just sink. And I was just,
Oh
I
my
could hear
goodness.
Josiah just wailing in the back because he knows he's the only one that's gonna be able to get this out. If it was me, I would have been walking.
he
back
was
'cause-
laughing or yelling at
Oh,
you.
just tears, just
He was like
Just absolutely
fits of
bawling.
rage.
just shaking his head. Just bad.
he was looking for his 22, but and you know what I'm saying. So it's no, actually not really like that, but so it was absolutely the most terrifying thing in my life, and yeah, we had to drag it back like 15 feet and unbury it through 3.5 feet.
15
of snow.
feet? Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
And somehow the skis went like all the way to the ground. It looked like
Yes.
they'd been buried there for like. It looked like the sled had been sitting there for like years.
Looks like it was
Yeah,
trying to get
because he
resurrected.
went and then like because it went and then it dug right under,
Did
right?
a nosedive.
Yeah, because if you went like this, was it over the hood?
Oh, yeah.
then
the
it was over the hood a bit, and then you
snow
went in like
just
that?
Went almost right over
'Cause
the
the
hood.
snow's
Over the
right here.
entire Earth.
And then
Yeah.
you probably went under like that.
A little garden gnome just took out a shovel and started grabbing it, digging a hole.
over here, over here.
Get it. Brutal. Well, one time though, when we were going,
We're good.
We're in this like
It's Doug.
we were in this like field with powder and stuff, and he was going through all the powder like pretty good around trees.
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff.
that was the funnest.
And it's kind of like a half, like maybe a
funnest
dried up
powder I've
swamp,
been in.
kind of bit of a dried up swamp with like young tamaracks and stuff.
Yeah, it was
there's
like
trees
trees.
you have to go
Yeah,
around.
you have to be careful.
And I
of
hit
some
a
of
couple trees maybe like you're
This guy would not like that area. Let me tell you what.
and my sled is heavier than his, and mine's like a trail sled. It shouldn't even be going through powder ever or jumping, but
Ever.
just send.
Just send it.
I was going through powder kind of with him and doing the same thing. I was like kind of feel my sled like bogging down a bit. It's like yeah, this doesn't really feel like it should be going through powder right now, but we're having fun. Might as well just go through the powder.
Just do it.
So as I just sped up, I was like, oh, look at this. There's a bit of a whiff in the powder, there's a bit of a hill. I was like, oh yeah, and I just pinned it. I think I just didn't like full bore, and then I went and it just hit that, and I just hear it snap, and I'm like, oh no, what could that be? Just open up, the belts just snap, just deadly snap.
Absolutely.
But if you
Gone.
have two guys, it's not too bad to change a belt on the older machines. Just literally lift.
Yeah, the belt was stretchier than I
You
thought.
lift,
Actually,
you lift up the back. I
wasn't
think I
bad.
lift. Well, I remembered halfway.
Did you
in,
lift it?
It was
Oh,
about
yeah.
like halfway in. I was like, oh, we could just lift up the. We dug it out a bit and we lifted up. I lifted up the back of the sled, and then you just literally turn the clutch. You turn the secondary clutch and it just turns on kind of.
Yeah.
And then it slides on. It's like that's the easiest way to actually replace a snowmobile belt is just lift up the back so that or set the back. If you're by yourself, try and get the back on like a stump or something, and then you could just clutch will turn freely once the track can move. So but that was just an experience because it was like, oh no, what's gonna happen to us?
And then when Matt was
that's a day.
That
was
was
a
started.
day.
Matt was driving my sled, and my belt was going, and I didn't know it. There was like a there was like a I know.
Had no idea.
Well, yeah, I didn't even know. Like when I was driving it, remember I told you there was a sound?
Yeah.
Because when there was a sound on my side when it was going,
Tiny clicker.
it was like a.
Yeah, it's just making a little noise, Matt.
That was
when
a
it was
track
going?
with a twig or something. Like it's nothing, right?
Well, I knew it was
An engine
something,
knock,
but I didn't
but
know
we
what it
didn't-
was. Well, not an engine knock. I didn't think it was an engine knock.
Probably just a little bit of
But-
piston something wrong.
Piston,
Just a squirrel banging out.
piston smack,
Wrecking the pistons.
bangers and mash.
Just a couple ball bearings in the pistons.
So, yeah, you can tell a story about that. You broke the belt, or like blew the belt on.
Yeah,
my
it was
sled,
basically the
too.
same
Yeah.
scenario, except we weren't in powder, just on the hard pack.
And it was
Matt
cold
was like-
outside. Like
Oh,
it was
yeah.
like 20. It was at least 25 below.
It was
At
really
least
cold.
it was.
The belt is
with the
meant
wind
for
chill,
that,
it was like
but it's
35.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I remember I was cruising down down a straightaway. Just I was
60?
absolutely shredding it in front of me. He just like
Cruising
gave me
at
a blue,
60?
just a blue smoke show, and then just coughing with two-stroke dirty little.
My old enticer is deadly. It would go like I think it would go like 83 kilometers an hour. Or
Yeah, we
something
raced.
Like that.
And
83. Wow.
you know what? It almost beat me. And that,
It's a 340 compared to a 500, and because it's so light. Like if someone like Matt Matt was on it, it would probably beat the 500.
It probably
because-
would have been close.
because of the weight difference. Because
That's crazy.
which is pretty cool that it's that it's that
100%,
that it's that powerful.
Well, mine goes just over 90 if it's like full on straight.
yeah, but with a lighter person on the enticer, it'd
Well,
probably
yours would be auto.
except the top.
It'd be
It
like-
says the top speed is like I think it says it's 80 something or
No, that was faster. You got to 90, didn't you?
I don't think so. I don't remember.
When we
You
ripped
probably
on the
were
dog
close.
sled?
You're probably like 85, close at least.
I don't know. But
It's
that's not
fast.
actually a great area to race.
No.
Well, we should
Oh, that-
instead of racing towards the road, we should be racing from the
Away
road
from-
in
Yeah.
to the like that.
You're telling people that you're racing towards roads. I don't know if that's a great idea.
Well, no, we weren't. It was just a gravel road, so
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Totally. Gravel.
and there's no police around, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We're gonna get caught. No,
So
Well,
we
this
were
is after the
we were
fact,
ripping
so-
down this trail going 60 kilometers an hour,
at least.
and it was like cold, like minus 20, gotta be like 27 with a wind chill of like 35,
Yeah.
and it was just clear day, and you know it was just cold. We were
Blue
planning on doing
skies.
we were planning on going to the trail that was about another from this point on, it was going to be another like 25 kilometers, and like there and back, and that's round trip, right? Until back to where we were, and we were getting ready to go down there. We're like just about nearing the turnoff, and I just start feeling this power loss. I'm like, I was like, I wonder what's going on here. And I didn't really think anything of it. I was like, it's it's like nothing really. Like it's all in my head, right? And I could see Josiah just pulling away, and I'm just like, what's going on? I looked at my throttle. It's like the same. It's like I'm going farther. It's like going like 2/3,
He's trying to
quarter,
he's trying to go harder on the throttle.
And it's just like
He's just revving it, probably wrecking the engine.
And this engine was just not having it. It was just like, I'm out of here.
Oh, great.
And I was like, oh no, it's overheating. It's gonna blow up, and I'm like, I'm gonna be in debt for life. And then I pull over. I'm like, I stopped the snow machine. I just no throttle, and then I was like running, 10 seconds, and then it just stopped, just died. It was dead quiet. And Josiah's just like, he's just ripping it. I can hear him just screaming down there. Just like, I'm just hoping he has a habit of looking backwards, but of course this is not the time he looks backwards when I'm actually pulling over on the
I
side.
usually look backwards like super off
because he rides faster and he's just
he does.
He just rips it.
Well, it's when it's only two guys or
I mean,
whatever.
it's good to look back.
If you guys snowmobile, usually you're supposed to keep an eye on the person behind you.
And usually your more experienced riders do get around a little quicker.
But this time, apparently, I didn't heed that. Warning.
It was just enticer vision.
Yeah, I was just having too much fun. I was just like,
sending
this
it,
is the life. Oh yeah, the wind in my hair.
Yeah.
The frostbite on my eyeballs. Just pleased.
Just pleased.
Couldn't see him.
And then
Just
I get
icicles.
up. I literally get up to the turnoff for the. Actually, I might have gotten even. I don't think I got onto the trail, but I got up to the turnoff for the trail. I'm like,
20
where
kilometers.
is that guy? I'm like, come on. This guy's taking forever. He's so slow. I turned around eventually. Like, it took me a while. I was like kind of waiting for him for like 10 minutes or something, I think. And I go back and I'm like,
my goodness.
what's going on, bud? Why are you taking so long?
Matt's just crying.
He's
just there.
Just climbed halfway up a tree. He's just like sitting there like, oh,
It's like a koala.
I can't take it anymore. But no, we got on that belt eventually. But I didn't know that trick about this was before. Like this was one of actually the first big rides for us. First long rides, and we'd already gone a decent distance because we'd gone already. I think we already went up to Manassan
And all the way around. So
and all the way around.
we're like
so.
at least probably we're probably about 30 kilometers into our thing.
Probably a little bit less because it
less,
would just
20?
be around town. That would be like 15 plus the Manassan.
Yeah.
It'd be like 25.
25, yeah.
20 to 25. But yeah, we were already a decent ways into it, and we're like, oh, let's try to do this trail, and then that happened. So
remember when the strands it just wrapped around the clutch?
yeah,
Oh,
so sometimes when a belt shreds, it has little strands in there that the clutch will just keep spinning and wrap it worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
So I had to cut those out, and some other Skidooers stopped and kind of helped us get that belt on.
Because it was square, man. It was in that trunk, just frozen, and
It was frozen in a square.
it was just like
It's funny, but
Yeah, because it was a new belt, and then
it was just sitting in the back.
when I had it,
there
and
for
then
a long time.
which is why you always carry a
Or a
belt
spare one.
because that's
I had a spare belt in there, so
you never know. You never know.
Yeah, but when you're skidooing, you blow belts a lot of the time, like especially if on older sleds that you haven't really
yeah, if they're not
tuned
like
and stuff, and the clutches start to wear out and stuff. So
and some sleds just blow belts for fun, right? So,
yeah, some sleds will blow belts.
well, if they're not
tuned.
if it's not a brand new belt,
they're not
like,
geared right,
then-
or if you're pulling something too big, then
yeah,
and we wouldn't know
Like
any
an
sleds
enticer-
or anything that blow belts. Like
like an enticer pulling a 200 pound,
it was more than 200 pounds,
that was
400 pound,
probably like 300 pounds or something like that.
300
it's like
pound
a semi.
wood sled.
Yeah, I pulled a decent load at the enticer.
I can't
It's
believe
pretty
that.
deadly,
Man,
That's insane.
but
and that's why the clutch is in its.
Resting
Amazing.
place.
it was already like
gone.
that.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
But yeah, so we got that on there, but that was just cold on the fingers. It was like I don't what
Oof, yeah.
because
that
it's
was
hard.
bad.
It's hard to work without or with gloves on. So I
Yeah.
usually just take them off and like whatever. But
Yep.
I start carrying those like thin cotton gloves now. Try and use those a little bit. That either those or there's the Milwaukee have like a -17 glove.
Yeah.
That work really well. That I need to buy another pair because I burnt through mine with
They're
a
super
grinder.
grippy. They're super grippy. It's awesome.
Yeah, and they work up to 17 minus. I think -20 maybe if you're working hard, but when you're touching metal and stuff, it depends.
It's like,
But it has the rubber, so the rubber insulates you from the metal, so you don't really get cold, which is really nice. And you can actually do stuff. A lot of gloves I find you can't do anything with. So.
yeah, the dexterity is amazing.
But we're not that great at working on sleds to begin with, so
Unless it's
about
called
all I
ripping
can
out
do
a
is
choke.
replace the spark plugs and replace the belt. Maybe put in some oil into the gas.
Yeah. And we eyeball it every time.
But so that's most of like the main stories. Well, there's lots of other stories, but it's like hard not necessarily recollect them all in one sitting. But we go to the falls a lot of the time. I went up to.
Oh, yeah.
There was an old actually it's not really an old logging trail. It's just
Manassas Falls.
it's like a bulldozer trail that went up to a quarry. Went up there. That was pretty fun, and just went through some fresh powder and stuff. A side by side with tracks went up there. And, But this was a couple winters ago before the snow was deep. It wasn't too deep, so it was pretty fun. I just went out there by myself, and just had a grand old time.
Yeah.
But I do want to get a more reliable sled eventually. Need to be more financially responsible with my financial decisions.
Yeah. Hopefully Matt gets a...
Just buy a Chaos. It's only 19 grand.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Easy.
Yeah.
That's what Matt's getting.
Yep.
Well, he could
Going on pre-order.
with his Axe body spray sponsorship.
What kind of sled do you want to get, Matt?
Oh, if I could get one, I'd do a crossover.
He wants to get like a half mountain sled, half trail.
Yeah,
Sled.
probably
Very
probably like a
Totally exists.
137-inch track maybe, or maybe, I mean, if probably maybe even like a 145 or something, even if it's not too bad on trail, because I do like driving on trail and everything, but I don't want to get stuck in powder.
You should get a 188.
Yeah. 188.
Just get a 244.
With a 1200 HO in there.
Nice Hemi in there.
Oh yeah, just diesel.
There's a diesel
Lot of
Skidoo.
torque.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Except it's insanely heavy.
Yeah. That's another thing is getting a heavy sled, because it's good if
Oh,
your
yeah,
sled
you
can
should
go
get
through
a lighter
powder.
one,
You can go
yeah.
through powder, not get stuck. You can have a super heavy sled. It doesn't really matter that much if that's your concern.
Man, if you get a light...
If you're a lighter guy, or you just don't want to have to dig out your sled, which nobody does, it's like it's
or-
honestly just terrible.
Yeah.
If you sink it.
Or
it's
if you have to dig it out, it's lighter to get out, right?
Exactly. Because the sno weighs it down too. It's just like
And one more like not story, but just like one time when we were out at winter camp for college there, and we were going through like deep powder, like it was probably 4 or 5 feet deep, and when we get stuck in the powder, he would my instructor would come, like this is a stuck Skidoo. He would come and drive across the front, so it would kind of pack it down, and then just try and get the skis onto that packed area, and well, it's basically the same way you get all Skidoos unstuck. It's just by getting like a packed area, and getting
it packed
a bunch of the snow around it, kind of either packed down or removing some of it, and then getting the track from where your track is, because usually you dug a big hole.
Usually it's like loose.
Yeah.
Or
So there's lots of different little tricks and stuff that we still have to learn, but there's not like a ton. Like the powder out here isn't insane, so that's why a crossover would definitely be good, because it's like there's a lot of powder, or sledding and powder is fun, but there's also lots of fun trails too. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds for that. But
we ain't in the Rockies yet, so
yeah,
That'd
like
be
mountain sledding is crazy. It's like that's
different
more of a
breed.
future
it's
goal,
a
like
different thing. Yeah.
something where you're gonna be like
You got to get a lot of experience.
maybe not even
before
buying that sled, maybe just renting one out in the mountains in BC or
right,
in
you
Colorado
can
or
rent
something.
them,
But
talk
yeah,
some
definitely
experienced guys out
buying
there.
one of those sleds is a huge commitment to mountain sledding. So
you
Yeah.
gotta
And
buy
then-
a trailer
and also a huge financial commitment. If you break down out there, that's probably a helicopter ride out, or you have to have someone tow you out.
Yeah.
So And the helicopter is not cheap. Trust me, I know.
But if you rent one of their sleds, they'll have the maintenance all topped up because
some helicopters, it's like $5,000 every time they fire up.
yeah. I mean, well,
That means-
they wouldn't charge you for that if they have insurance.
That means they're going to charge you
I mean, it
$500,000.
depends. I don't know.
For union labor.
But
Yeah.
anyways, guys, that's probably as much as we want to talk about Skidoos today. Some of you guys probably don't even want to talk about Skidoos. Maybe you're 40 minutes in and you're like, man, I wish they just changed a different subject already. I've been listening to this for 40 minutes.
Okay, what do you want to talk about now?
Now we're going to be talking about, your best fishing stories.
Fishing, yeah. I was
We
gonna go
said we
fishing.
like fishing and such, but we haven't really told any story about it.
Yeah. So, what's your
Well,
favorite one? I guess you're.
I could go on and on. I don't know
I
if I
bet you
said
could.
favorite.
Wait,
I
no
said
way.
best. Every time you guys do this to me, I feel excluded from your company. You're talking over there,
Well,
and
we're
I can't
here
even
together.
hear what you're
Like,
saying
I need to put this like this.
because you're just making inside jokes about me.
We're in a different.
Oh, yeah.
We're in a different studio, another basement.
Obviously,
Yeah.
you can tell this is
So-
just a grand studio with the pine
Wood
boards
ceiling?
above us.
This is underground bunker, but
Very nice.
But yeah, basement. Yeah, basement.
So every
Okay.
year we go to the Moke Lake Fishing Derby,
Oh yeah.
and I went there and I caught 14 fish, and I won a Fox Pro towel. And this towel, I've been seeing it around
$10.
for years and
10
years.
bucks.
And my biggest pike I caught was not even that big. And I still won because I
yeah.
got the most fish. But that's not my best story on it.
Right, yeah.
I was just saying that.
Okay.
But when we were
Humble brag.
at Moke the other day, like a couple years ago, the other day, we were in a kayak and they're just biting like crazy. And I caught like at least a 23-incher pickerel pike.
Pickerel
And
pike.
I'm not
Perch,
joking.
pike, pickerel.
Okay.
No, but no, none of that's it. Crazy. I actually haven't caught that many big pike in Moke. I caught some big pike
Yeah.
in Paint Lake. I caught a 35-inch pike out of my kayak. I was trolling with a homemade spoon that I made out of like
Oh, it was a homemade one?
a spoon
Okay,
where you
yeah.
eat. And it was like I painted it kind of like I just spray painted it orange, and then a little bit of like yellow, and then I put a 5 of diamonds
Yellow
like
diamonds.
stencil on it, and I think I did yellow diamonds,
Yeah.
and a little glitter thing at the end. And I was trolling with that, and I'm just like, I'll probably never catch nothing with this. And I just wanted to catch one little just one little fish in my kayak. I was like, I just want to get one kayak fish. It's like whatever. It's just be cool to catch one on the kayak. And I'm trolling. And I think I get a snag, and I'm like, wait a second, is this fighting? And then I started to reel in. I'm like, okay, I got a fish. Like, and when you're in the kayak, well, I don't really have a rod holder, so it's kind of like in between my legs, so it just drags through kind of weeds and stuff. So it's sometimes kind of hard to tell bites because if you're dragging through weeds, you're just kind of pulling the trebles through
Yeah.
a bunch of weeds and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was at first I wasn't sure if it was a bite or not, and then I saw just the rod just bend. I was like, oh, that's a bite, and it just went like,
Oh.
and I started reeling in, and that pike pulled me like, it pulled me like, it pulled me like 100 feet in two different directions, and then when I was in one place, it was getting more weedy. And I started I was still like fighting it. It was a decent fight. I think it actually took
I was
because Simon was behind
I was
me
there
and
I was watching him. I was
But
like,
you were-
oh, he's getting pulled around.
weren't you
kayak.
weren't you in that bay?
Yeah,
And then you came over
I kinda
or
was.
something?
Yeah,
But you were a decent ways away from me, and when you got to me, it was still fighting.
yeah. Like I had to come further, and then he was still fighting it. I was like, oh,
And I was like
wow,
calling
it's
him
taking
because
a
I
long
didn't know
time.
what to do because I didn't think I was gonna catch this big pike.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, might need some help over here, and it's like, how am I supposed to help? He was probably like, how am I supposed to help you?
and I was in a smaller kayak almost,
So
or I didn't have room in mine.
yeah, as I was fighting this pike, and then I like once it got to the
Barely, so
once it got to the kayak, I was like, Oh man, that's a big one. Once I seen it, it just took off and just ripped a bunch of drag. Just kind of like not straight down because like pike don't usually go like straight down.
It, like,
but
went
it
out.
just went out like crazy, and I was like, oh man, and
Yeah,
I wasn't
it was
sure. Like
crazy.
I did not think I could land that thing. I was like just contemplating. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Like,
I was like, you got it.
what,
You got it.
what is
Just keep
life?
going.
And then I got it back up. I think it was the second. Well, I think might have been the third time that I got it up.
Yeah,
And I-
probably third or fourth at least. Yeah,
And then
I was there.
yeah, then I pulled it up, and it was kind of worn out by then. So I grabbed,
Yeah, I was probably a bit
I was like,
tired.
okay, I think I can just grab like I can grab the leader. So I grabbed the leader and the gill and just flopped it into the kayak and just all over my
just pike slime
all
all over his
all over my
shorts.
shorts. I'm like, ah man. And then it's just flopping around, like smacking me like silly. And I'm like, oh, I hope I don't get this
Oh,
trouble
yeah.
in my legs or something.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about.
So I
was
tried.
like,
I think I tried to unhook it as fast as I could, and then I just kind of let it sit there and went and took a big picture with it.
Yeah, we went to shore quick and then took a picture of it.
And then it was a bit hot out to do that with though. So
yeah, we were getting worried. I was like,
I probably wouldn't do that next time. Like, but it's
Because
just,
big fish too. They're
it was the biggest pike
fragile
I've ever
ducks, so-
caught though. So
Yeah,
who cares if it dies? Just kidding.
I mean,
No, but yeah, that heat was definitely pretty brutal to be
yeah,
out
it
of the
was a
water
hot
for
day.
too long.
It was like
but-
20, 25 at least out.
And then I caught like a 34 or 33. Didn't I catch one in the same area? Pike?
Maybe I don't
remember if it was from the kayak or not. I think it was just from
I don't know.
I don't know, but I caught another one that was like 34 or something like that.
You caught it offshore, I think,
Yeah, I don't remember.
because we were fishing offshore for a bit too.
And then we were catching in that same area. We were catching pickerel. I was catching pickerel off just a little like a spoon.
Didn't you catch a
trolling with-
19 off your?
Yeah, I also caught a 19-inch pickerel with that same spoon that I caught the pike with. That homemade spoon. So that was cool. But that was one of the best fishing days because I caught that 19-inch pickerel and that 35-inch pike. I was like crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that was one of the.
Yeah.
Oh, you did that, Pierce. But I did that moke.
Yeah.
And 100% when it's fresh, the power bait works. 100%. Because I used it afterwards and it did not
power bait.
catch me nothing but like
The
a
slime
sucker on the
works.
bottom.
Get out of here!
So absolutely wrecked the fish.
You should see him reeling in. He just looks like
Oh.
a doll. He's like, he puts up his right foot. He puts it up. And he's like, oh.
It's like that.
Looks like he's breaking his bones every time. He's like,
Oh, yeah.
oh.
It's like
Look
the
at
original. It's like that Toy Story one that with the rod. The original one. Oh.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I shouldn't be eating cheese. I'm lactose.
okay.
Tolerant.
Can I tell him?
So,
You're good.
Yeah, so I was reeling it in, and I actually didn't realize.
What is he?
I didn't
deal?
I didn't realize there was a fish on there. I thought it was like
He's crying over his cheese.
just emotional damage. So, and I really didn't think I had a fish on the line because it didn't. I thought I thought I had
wasn't
a little
fighting,
bit of
hey?
I thought a little tug, and then just stopped. And I was like, oh, and I just really in slow, right? I was just like, it's like, it's gone. There's nothing on there. Because there was no tugging. And this fat old fish I just see this shimmer. I was like, hold on a second. I look in there, and the water I could see is like, I was like, no, that can't be right. It starts growing and growing and growing. And I'm like, there's a fish on my line. And I'm freaking out because I'm like, that's a big fish. I was like, oh, it's a huge. And I was like, wait, that's a pickerel. And then everything just set in. I was like, panic just ensuing. It was just crazy. Everyone's all hyping. They're like, reel it in.
Yeah, we've seen it.
I
Yeah.
was like, and someone
Yeah,
else
we're
was
all
using it at
going
the same
crazy.
time because your dad, I think, was catching a fish at the same time.
Probably.
He was catching a pike though, or
Yeah.
something. Not a
And
pickerel.
we're all like trying to find who's getting the net, and then so I ended up landing this thing.
We're
in
like,
the
get
net.
Matt's. The other one's too small.
Just scooped it up. Guy had the net, just went in there and almost stepped in the water, but got it. It was just,
Oh.
yeah.
Was
But
that Josiah or
No,
Oh,
I can't remember who did it.
or me
but-
or something? I don't know.
and we measured it. It was 24 and a half inches. Absolutely huge. And
Just a beauty
and
of a
just, like,
fish.
Like fat
You
too.
keep going like this tiny.
No, that's the width of it. It was absolutely.
Oh, okay.
It was massive.
I was like, yeah.
No,
It was like at least this
24.
big.
It was like this big.
At least bigger than a minnow.
You know, come think of
That's
it.
what I thought.
The biggest fish I ever caught.
You know, it might have been a minnow. Distant relation, right? So that's my best pickerel ever.
Yeah.
My best actual pickerel ever is just at the dock. I just caught it and reeled it up. And then my little sister, she went down and netted it. Like she went like she got down
it was
there like
crazy.
Probably like 2 feet or 2.5 feet to net this one, and it came off the hook like right as she was like. I think right as it was coming out, it kind of like flopped off or something. Like,
Yeah,
it was very close to coming off.
It was
like,
close.
If she didn't net it, I wouldn't have got it. I was like, oh man. Like,
Yeah.
But that was, I think it was 22 or something.
Yeah.
It was the biggest one I ever caught. Was only 22. It's like very sad. But
Yeah. I caught.
want to go to some lodges and just start smacking Mondo soon.
I caught one this year that was 21 and a half. That was my biggest pickerel. Just off of pickerel we got Pearson's Rock. But what? No one knows where it is.
Still.
Imagine it was on Google.
It's not, but don't say anything.
Okay. So, I'll tell another favorite. My
It's
favorite.
a random location in a random place on Earth.
Yes.
Totally random.
So my other favorite one was, because that's short, that was this year, but I caught a pike at the creek connected to the river where we live.
There's a video of it on my channel, the Canadian Wilderness.
Yeah, there's a video on his channel.
2,500
Go see it.
views.
Yeah.
35-inch pike,
Yeah, because that was my biggest pike.
probably northern Manitoba or something.
See,
No. The biggest pike that I caught was that was it, and I caught it on a weedless lunker hunt jig, and I just
That's
I was
just
fishing and
this guy is Jake.
I threw it on the edge of weeds.
It wasn't even that deep either there.
It was pretty shallow. The pike one it was like sitting right. It was just swimming right there, just
Even
like this.
that whole creek across is not even that deep.
That's what they do. They go like
shallow.
that. So it was just sitting there.
Just
I
blast their
flipped
fins
it in there. Somehow I was lucky. Right in front of its face, I jigged it up once a little bit, and then boom, and then I was like, oh. And then I got it. It was pretty close up, and then it ran out a bit, and then I was like, oh, it was
Chase
a
it
big
down
one.
The shoreline.
I was just like yelling
Yeah, I
at
was
him. I'm like,
going
no, don't release it. And it kind of was on the grass and stuff, and I think I stepped in and
Oh yeah,
and grabbed it.
I brought it up a bit, and then he got it right there, and then we got it.
It was so hard to control. Like it was actually, it was hooked really well, but like it was so strong. Like
It was a big fish.
I can't
so
imagine
it was-
like the 40s and 48s people catch it. Like
Yeah, like the
that's
masters,
pretty big.
43 is master, and those are crazy.
Those are next
Crazy
level.
fish.
Those are next
Clearwater has some good masters, but a lot of them people fish for them with like big hair jigs.
Yeah.
Hair jigs, and
Or
like,
they use
look like
huge,
a fly.
They'll use like a huge spoon.
Kind of, it's like
or glide
with
bait or
shiny
something.
stuff, and like they like that type of movement or something. So, or like kind of like a jig. So that's mine.
A lot of guys though they'll use.
That's my story.
They'll use big shiners, like 10-inch shiners for pike like that size. But usually that's ice fishing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because some guys have a big decoy. It's like a average sized pike, like about this big, and it's a rubber decoy, and then bigger pike come up and attack it. They're like, "Jah, jah." And then if you're spear fishing, ice fishing, then you have a big hole. Have you ever seen that?
No.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool, and they like just jig this pike, and they're like, oh, and then when they see it, a bigger one, like an actual pike that they want to get, then they go down, and it's clear enough water, and they go, whoosh, throw the thing, and that's pretty cool. So,
And they kill the crap out of it.
and yeah, I guess. Yep. So, yeah. So I don't know. Do you guys want to mention anything else, or
Not really.
you don't want to talk about anything else?
Well, I
Oh, let's mention.
don't want to talk
let's talk
too
about.
much.
Okay. Well, let's talk about your cars,
Oh, I could go on and on.
or we could do dream. Like, what's our dream car to get? Like, is yours a Tacoma?
My dream car is a
Fiat.
fully loaded, fully lifted, decked out, customized Toyota Tundra
Right, and then you'll be
With
happy.
that-
Then you'll be happy, right?
with a 2-inch lift. Then I'll be happy.
With
No,
the
with
chaos in the back.
With like an 8-inch lift with this
Right.
like monster,
Okay,
like,
not happy yet. It has to be like 8-inch
monster
with a
mud,
Skidoo in the back.
monster mud tires
To do in the back.
and like extra beefy leaf springs
Oh, okay.
and just
Yeah, like better suspension and stuff.
and a V6. Just kidding.
Well, I mean, it does have a V6. You could get it.
Just turbo.
You could get cool
With
air
a-
intake with a.
Turbocharge,
Yeah, with a.
cool air intake, and
about-
a customized exhaust.
Yeah,
And
you could get a boost, like boosted or whatever.
it's got to have a hitch on the back
Well, obviously that's pretty much
with a trailer.
full of
Just tell
Skidoo's
all the details.
Yamaha enticers.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
My dream Skidoo is a Yamaha Exciter, but we are not going to talk about that. We're talking
So-
about my
Classified
cars.
information.
My first car, Yamaha Sunfire, or wait, what's it called?
Yeah, lots of.
Pontiac Sunfire.
Pontiac.
Oh, that one.
That lasted for like a couple months, and then we sold it. And then my second car
Blowing white smoke.
was that it was a GMC 1990 GMC Sierra.
Oh yeah.
2500 heavy duty. That was a really
yeah.
awesome truck.
It was a good
lasted
truck.
for a couple years. It lasted for like 3 years, I think, or something like that.
Yep.
And then
Yeah, it was
it
pretty
started to
good.
kind of poop the bed. But it was fun. I got some wood in that and chicken hunted and stuff and went off-roading quite a bit in it. Or not quite a bit, but quite a few times.
Probably to some of its.
And it's not to some of its demise at all. So
Okay.
you can take that as you may.
All right.
But then I just sold that recently because I couldn't really get rid of it because it was basically a lawn ornament. And after that, I bought a Toyota Yaris, which then got T-boned. And then I got money for that from MPI. And then I used that to buy my Nissan Tacoma. No,
Tundra.
Nissan
Titan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I knew it.
My Nissan Titan is basically a piece of hunk of junk.
It's
So
not that bad.
next thing I'm going to be buying is probably Toyota Tundra with 500,000 kilometers on it. No, but I'm probably
Those
going
are
to go
only ones
for
available.
next one. I'm going to go for since I've had so many good vehicles. Oh yeah, and also bought a Toyota Matrix. Kind of.
Yeah.
That's not working either. So
It just needs a new alternator.
Sunfire, GMC, Matrix, Yaris, and
We're on number 6 now.
Titan.
And
Matrix.
I said that.
Yeah.
6 cars. Oh my.
No,
Five.
5. You bad counter. So hopefully
Oh, yeah.
I can get that
Sorry.
Matrix going, and then maybe I'll just sell my truck and buy a brand new Tacoma. No, but I'll probably buy a used Tacoma or a used Tundra next.
Yeah.
They're hard to find with low kilometers though, because everyone
Yeah.
drives Toyotas a lot. It seems like because they're so reliable.
Yeah.
Somehow people drive them like 400,000 kilometers, and it's like a 2019. It's like, okay, how did you do that?
Yeah. Yep.
But
I've only had 2 cars
lame.
so far. I've had what?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 3.
Yeah.
Right. I had a Suzuki Grand Vitara.
Oh,
I didn't count that because I didn't drive it. He drove all of his.
oh yeah.
I drove
Yeah.
it, but
You had
I
it.
did drive it. Yeah. Okay. I had a 1999 Suzuki white Grand Vitara. It was it was rusted out. I shouldn't have bought
told him we
it. $700 only, and then I sold it
told-
what I paid
I
for it
told him we
basically,
should enter
or
it into the-
$500.
Mud
Mud
bog,
bog.
but he wouldn't enter in the mud bog.
It wouldn't have made it.
It
3
would've-
feet.
It would have
so-
made it.
It would have made it.
Would have skipped the whole thing.
It would have made it through the entire thing.
No, it wouldn't have. It would have made it like 5 feet, maybe.
Simple snorkel all the way through. Simple snorkel all the way through. Yeah.
And then I had a Ford Focus, and I have a Journey, Dodge Journey.
Oh, is the Focus totaled?
I still
forgot.
need to figure out.
I forgot that Focus is gone.
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. We've had so many vehicles. Wow.
I mean, I haven't had as many.
Our family has gone through like 15 vehicles. It's insane.
Well, you've gone through 5 of them.
No.
5, 6, 7.
Matt doesn't have a car.
Matt,
No,
Matt
yet.
is actually responsible.
What's the car you want to get?
Matt is
though?
actually responsible with his money, and he is saving it, unfortunately. So
Yeah.
he doesn't do anything fun. He never buys us McDonald's. He never goes skidooing and pays for gas and nothing. He doesn't even
Just
buy.
stingy.
He never buys a Polaris Chaos.
Nope.
Like, what is that?
I don't know what kind of friend wouldn't buy your friend a 19 grand
if I was
Chaos.
if I was
I don't
Matthew,
know.
if I was Matthew, I would buy me Polaris Chaos. And Simon too.
Right.
Honestly,
you know,
2 for 1.
So, what is the car you want to get?
if I
I
were to,
already know the answer.
Toyota Tundra. That's for me.
if I get a car,
Orange. I want an orange,
Car.
burnt
you
orange.
know, and it's
kinda.
got this is a realistic purchase,
All
right?
all-wheel drive car.
All-wheel drive. Yeah. If I had to get
Starts with an S.
So lame.
you know what?
I'm gonna leave.
I
this.
know what it is
I
already.
just want to get out of here.
This is
What? I'm.
Starts with an S.
Subaru.
Oh, not the Subaru.
Yes.
Just go to hipster town
STI.
already.
Yeah.
STI.
Let's
V-Box,
go.
4 liter.
This is the
Engine.
lamest.
4
No one
cylinder,
cares
whatever.
about Subaru. It's the worst.
And
Only-
You
if
want to
want
get
a
the
Subaru
WRX
Forester.
STI.
STI, yeah.
Right.
And you know, I
That's my
think that'd be
dream car.
amazing.
You get that for $4,000.
I'd like to see you get a Tundra for 4,000.
They're like 24.
I can buy one for 4,000 with 500,000 miles.
Yeah. You do that then.
Yeah, I'll go for 1 week and I'll be dead.
And if I were to get a truck,
Yeah,
I
like
would
what's
want.
a truck?
I don't know a brand necessarily,
GMC
but I.
Canyon.
Oh, yeah. No, I would
Marcel's truck.
I would definitely get a truck that has 4-wheel drive. It's got to have a V6, and this thing's got to be 2,500. 2,500 crew cab with an 8-foot box.
Whoa.
That's all I gotta say.
2,500.
2,500, baby. That's what it is.
It's true. You do want a 2,500. The new 1,500s, a lot of them, they
They're
can
just
take
wimpy.
more. They can take a little bit more than like what it says, but they're not. They're pretty weak. Like
Which
it's basically
one?
just like you're getting a car, and it's
Yeah.
like, what's the point? Why are you getting that?
Matt,
You might as well
Matt.
get a car, right? So
which I haven't heard of a 2,500 having a V6 engine. What is that?
or like 6-cylinder,
A 2,500 having a V6?
maybe a V8 or something. I don't know.
Just so
We're
did you
talking-
tell them
I mean,
about
it could
your
be.
Dodge
Yeah.
Journey?
What? Yeah. What do you mean?
You said about your Dodge Journey?
I did, yeah. I have a 2014 Dodge Journey.
Oh, he already said that apparently. I don't know why
Black.
he's saying it twice. So lame.
My dream truck would be Toyota Tacoma, probably.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
Well,
The
like
Taco.
basic. Well, I don't know. I like the newer Tundras too,
The
but
taco box.
or a Raptor, Ford
Ooh,
Raptor.
That's not good.
Probably the Tacoma over.
I would buy the Ford Matrix. If
Yeah.
I had 30 grand.
If it was SUV, it would be the Subaru Outback or a Crosstrek. What would it be for you for SUV?
SUV's gotta be.
Mazda Miata.
Yeah, sure.
It's not even a thing.
That is a thing. The Mazda Miata, that's a
Or is it?
That's a car.
Yeah, it's like a mud bogging machine.
No, I thought Miata was a different. Oh no, you're right. Oh wow,
It's
Oh,
Italian.
you're wrong for a car thing.
that was weird actually.
It's gotta be. I don't know. Maybe those Escapes are pretty cool, but
I would get a Chevy Tracker, Chevy Blazer,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
4-wheel drive.
Oh yeah. Remember that
Maybe
Blazer
a
I showed you?
Yukon be.
But not a new Blazer.
Yukon.
Not a new Blazer, an old Blazer.
It's kinda-
Yeah,
There's
not
actually
the
a,
new Blazers suck.
a lot of people with the old Blazers. A lot of people
Oh, yeah.
restore them or just kept them in great shape.
Yeah.
Some people, like, I saw one, it was like, oh, family owned, whatever, and it was like super clean.
Yeah.
And it was like, I think it had like 130,000 clicks or
Oh
something.
my goodness.
So
What about them old Broncos?
old Broncos are pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I like
be
the
nice.
Chevy more though, because Ford,
He doesn't like Ford.
Nissan all the way, Nissan Frontier,
Yep.
Nissan Titan, Nissan Rogue. That's why I'm going rogue on this podcast. Guys, come to my channel. I am not
Okay,
going
I
to be
think
talking
that's
to
enough.
these people anymore. Ever in my life.
All right, so we're gonna end it there.
Never
Eh?
talking to
Probably.
them again. I'm probably going to
Thanks for listening.
million views on my
and-
channel.
And like and subscribe if you saw the last podcast. And
Give us some ideas in the comments for
Yeah.
what we can talk about. Because
you can put down your favorite cars and like different things like that. Same thing as last time in the
Give us some
in the
topics.
comments.
Maybe we should go into what kind of car,
Skidooing.
what's going to happen in the future with electric cars.
Where should we mud bog?
Is there going to be electric skidoos, electric cars? What's the future?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
That's what we'll
Doing
talk about
electric
on my channel.
electric mud bogging would be interesting.
it would be.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah, it'll
we
be
talk about
interesting
some-
when
Well,
the
you wouldn't
water
wanna get
goes over
fried.
and fries them.
Yeah.
Then there's a
Rivian
lawsuit on
RT.
your hands.
All right.
RTV.
Thanks for watching.
Big
Bye. Big boys out.